And hello, guys. Hope all of you are doing great. And for today, we are here for the Baron Lane Guide. I've been working a lot on it, and I think I'm ready to do it, to give you everything you need to know about it. So, let's start. First of all, what is the Baron Lane? The Baron Lane is the top lane. This one. It can also be on the bot, but anyway. So, it's where the tanks and the fighters are. So, one of the most important things about the Baron lane in general, before even start playing, is knowing your champion and the matchups. For example, if the enemy is playing a Darius, try not to pick Dr. Mundo because it's really bad. Or if you know that the enemies are playing Fiore, don't play Garen. If you know that the enemies are playing Garen, you want to play Darius, for example, or Fiore. Counter pick is one of the most important parts of the lane. So why is it that important? So just you will be facing this same opponent for the first, I would say, 7, 8 minutes of the game. Yes, but it's also where most of the game is decided. If, for example, in the enemy Baron lane there is Akali, yeah, you're not gonna have a good game. A fed Akali is just too strong. So that's something that you have to be really careful. Counter pick, as I've told. Sorry for this. Um, how can you counter pick? Simply look at the enemy team and try to discover who is the Baron laner. If you see an Akali, she can go mid or top. If you see, let me see, Malphite, he can go top or support. Pantheon, he can go top or jungle. A lot of things. So always try to know what the enemies choose to go to the Baron lane and pick what's good against it. For this, you also need to really know your champion, but that's obvious. So, to farm on the Baron lane, it's not like on mid or on the bot lane. You have to be really close to the enemy to get all the CS that you can get. So, you have to be, again, counter pick is the most important part, I would say. Okay, so now that you know what is counter pick and have a notion of what do you need to do on the draft, no, thank you, sir. Um, you have to keep in mind that the Baron lane is an isolated lane. What does it mean? It means that you can be alone the whole game without even receiving a single gank, and you have to be really careful. So you have to pay attention on where both your mid laner and your jungler is, and also try to discover where the enemy jungler is and if the mid laner is still on the lane or not. Why? Because if you don't know where the jungler is, he can be really close to you, ready to attack. Or if the enemy mid laner is missing, he might come top to kill you or to get an assist. So always keep an eye on the map. Besides this, I would say Baron lane is, I wouldn't say really chill, but it's kinda chill. Um, you can be alone the whole game, just by yourself, so be ready. Excepted if your team needs you for something, but I will talk about this later. So now I will just come to somewhere else here. So that's the top lane. Both waves come. I will use this for mine and this weird red for the enemy. So one thing that you need to know is about the lane, the wave itself. It's something that can totally change a game. So now the lane is in the middle, as you can see with the white line. I'll just try to. I'm not good at drawing, so please don't take it bad. This is a normal lane. Why? Because the river is here and the waves are fighting right here, right in the middle. So the wave is pushing when your lane is. I will maybe leave just this mark because it's really important. So you know that your lane is pushing when it's not fighting here, but here. So it also means that the enemy lane is not here anymore, it's here. So why is it bad? And why is it good? So having a pushing lane is good because let's see, okay, there is like the small little scuttle here. Yeah, that's an awful scuttle. It looks like. Don't ask. Okay, please. That's a scuttle, okay? And your jungler is here ready to get it, but the enemy jungler also come to get it. Who do you think has the advantage? Just looking at the top lane. If you say, my jungler, you're right. Because I can totally come from here to help him. But if the enemy comes, he will lose a lot of golden experience from this, and his lane can be totally screwed. So the best thing is the enemy will just stay here farming, and this is not just a 1v1 between the junglers, it's a 2v1, and we can probably just kill him or just make him run away and take the scuttle. So now, if this is a really good thing because it causes like a 2v1 situation, why is it bad? So let's see. I am here, really close to the enemy turret to take the last hits here and there and blah blah blah. So I am so far away from my turret. The enemy is just like one step away, but I am so far. So it's really bad because if there is a champion like Darius, I would say, he can pull you to the turret, or a more obvious case, the enemy jungler can come and get you from behind. And for you to get to your turret, it's not that easy. If I will give the example with Wukong, I will give a lot of examples with Wukong because it's the champion that I know the most. You can just use your ultimate to run away, put the clone here, spin again, just like go while spinning, and you can easily run away. It's not that obvious sometimes. So in this situation, your lane is pushing and the enemy lane is freezing. Freezing is when the lane is here, close to his turret, and he can safely take CS without overstepping. Overstepping is being too far, such as I am doing. So, now you know what a pushing lane is, you know what a freeze is. So, I will talk to you about something that not many people do, but you should. So, basically, try while there are 4 minions in each lane. Don't start just like eating minions randomly because the lane will be pushing and you can create a freeze for your opponent, which is really good for him. And creating a freeze will make you in a more vulnerable position and he can totally come back on farm. So what you want to do is just last hit 1 hit per minion. I will talk about something that will go a bit in the opposite way of this, but it's for later. So doing this, if both players do this, the lane will always stay on mid because this side took a hit, this side took a hit, so it's even. If the enemy side took 2 hits because I take 2 times, the lane will be weaker, so my lane will be taking and will slowly start pushing on the enemy side because more waves will be growing. So my lane will have 7 minutes, the enemy lane will have 6. I'm giving an example. So my lane will deal more damage to a minion and the enemy will deal less damage. So my lane will be slowly going up. So one really good thing that you can do to have an early advantage on your opponent is first lane, just list it minions, or try to hit like 2 times 1 because you don't want to create a freeze or you don't want to screw up your lane, but the lane will be slow pushing. Slow pushing is when the lane, it's not here anymore, it's here. And you have to pay really attention to where the wave is coming. You can look at your map to know where the enemy minions are. Does it make sense? No. So I will explain. The minions are exactly the same. I have 4 minions on this side, he has 4 minions. If I look at my map and my minions are here, just on the side of the turret, I will know that the enemy minions will be here, equally. If I see one of my minions here, I know that the enemy minions are here. The map is a mirror, so you can know when the enemy lane is coming. So, first wave, you do this. Second wave, same. And the third wave that will probably be here, push it as fast as possible. Why? Because you want to crash. What is crash? Crash is when there are no more minions for the enemy and your minions are all going in the tower's range. That's crash. So, what will it allow you to do? It will allow you to go back here or on this bush, this one, or eventually on this one if you see that you can do it safely. Recall, buy an item and come back stronger, while your opponent has to stay here or else he will lose minions. That's a really good thing to do. First wave, second wave, third wave, and crash. Then it goes under turret, you go back, you come back stronger. So, that's basically all you need to do. All you need to know about waves. Uh, be careful, because if your opponent is pushing too much, it might be like a bit annoying because you will give him a free recall and come back to lane. Try not to do this. Try to keep an eye on what your opponent is doing. Okay, so I see that he hit one time this minion, so I will hit one time this minion too, so the lane will be even. And I want my lane to be slightly pushing more. Boom, another one. What to do against the freeze? We've all been in this situation, when we have to be here, farming, almost in the enemy turret, and then the jungler just comes and get you. What to do against the freeze? If you can, call your jungler if he can help you, or your mid laner, but try to kill the enemy minions as fast as possible. One small trick. You know that the minions start attacking you when you attack the enemy champion. So you can use that. If you're we'll just something. So my minions are here, the enemy minions are here. The turret is here. So some of the minions are inside. So try to kill the minions. If you can kill the minions, your minions will be pushing in the lane. And don't let your opponent freeze. Don't let him like stay here and take damage while the next wave is coming. Don't do this because it's a free freeze and it will just finish your game. It will just like screw your lane. So what you want to do, a small trick is attack the enemy champion. The minions will be like, oh, you attack him, I will attack you. And you want to walk back a bit and the lane will be, instead of being here in a really, really bad position, it will follow you and it will be like a mess when the lanes are like all entangled between each other. That's what you want because you can clear the wave faster and let your wave push and crash. That's what you want to do against the freeze. Basically, you want to break it. You want to kill the enemy minions. Sometimes attack the enemy champion at least just once, even with the ignite. I think it worked with the ignite. To do this, so the enemy minions will attack you, and they will follow you. To the opposite way, if you see that the enemy minion wave is coming, it's about to crash on your turret, stop here. Maybe not, maybe just a bit more. I would say here. And then wait. If you see that your minion wave is here, it's about to come, start walking towards the bush to hide. So the minions will keep walking, but meanwhile, while you did this, they still follow you just a bit, and it gave enough time to your minions to go there and give you a freeze. When do you want to freeze? When you are really ahead, or it's a bad matchup. Try to freeze when you can, because it's really good. So your wave is here, the enemy wave is here. So the enemy will have to step up a lot to try to take some minions, and it will be sad, of course. One thing that you can do is stay here. Exactly here, between the enemy and his minions. Oops, I did meant to draw that, sorry. Um, what does it do? So the enemy won't have any experience from the minions because he will be too far away from the lane. And you can go back, last hit to keep the freeze, and go back here to deny him. Do this if you're ahead. It's a really good way to screw your opponent until the end. So, I might leave this here for later. Now, I will talk about some small map advantages. When you are on the top side here, you have the plant, this plant here, there. You have this plant that you can use to remove the enemy wards if to know if they have vision or not. You also have a really, really good point about this brush. I don't know if I will be able to see it, but the brush like here below. You can hide here, and if the enemy comes to ward, you can attack him for free. You can do this with your jungler too. So it's a 2v1 out of nowhere, level 1. It's really, really bad. He won't be expecting that, and he will take a lot of damage. More about some interesting wards that you can have. I'm gonna go back to my map. Nope. Okay, here. Nice. Good wards here. Can I make it thicker? No? Maybe not? Okay, whatever. So, always one of the best wards is on this bush here or on this bush here, because there you can see if the enemy jungler is coming or just pathing. Just like if finish the scuttle, he's going there. A good ward is you walk just here in the beginning and you place a ward here behind the Baron pit. So that's a good ward also because you can see people here. If you can, if it's not too risky, you can even walk here and place the ward here. Exactly here, because you will have vision on this camp and you will see if someone is pathing here. So you can also place a ward on this bush, the middle one here. Why? Because you will know if the enemy laner will be in one of those bush or not. If you want to help your jungler, put a ward not really inside the bush here, but just in the corner, so you have vision on this and here. Next, so when you are ahead, you can put wards on this bush here behind the red buff or here. You can also, if you want to play safe, place a ward more here. One more thing. On the river, it's really important. When you want to ward the Baron or the Rift Herald, please don't put it inside. Please. Put it in front of it. If you put it inside, you will have like this vision. So if the enemies come here, you won't see them. But if you put the ward here, more in the river, you will see if they are doing the Rift Herald. If they come from behind and they attack, you will still see it, and you will have vision on the river. So don't put it inside, put it on the river. Okay, so I'll just check how long I'm recording. I cannot really see it, but I hope not for much. Anyway, so when you are on the other side of the map, I will just do this, please. Okay, nice. Position yourself in this bush and then put the ward here, because you will see the enemy jungler if he comes, if he's doing the scuttle. If you are ahead, you can put eventually a ward here. It's kind of a weird ward, but it's when you are really ahead because the enemy jungler would like to come. When you are like this, freezing. You can ward the Tribush if you feel not safe, because he can come from this side. If he comes like really close to here, this ward, don't see it. So here, this one, they cannot come from behind because you will see them about here, and it gives you enough time to go back. In the later game, really good wards are here and on this bush here. Really good ones. because it's basically the central points on the enemy jungle. It's really good. It's also really interesting after the turrets are down, put the ward here or here, because you will see them if they walk here or there. When you want to play defensively, you just want to place wards in the entrances of your jungle. So I would say here, eventually on this one, I can say just like on the bush, on the blue buff, on this one, and try to put it also on lanes. It might seem stupid, but it's really interesting to know where the enemies are. So, I think I'll just do a part 2 of the guide for it not to be too long. So, yes, we've talked about what is the Baron lane, that is also an isolated lane, some wards, some wave management, the map advantages. When you are on this side, on the other side of the map, I didn't told you, but one really good thing that you can do is just push the wave and take the Krug camp. It's really good. When you have the advantage, try to take the scuttle. It's always really good. When you are on this side, eventually, it already happened more than once to me that I could take the Rift Herald just by myself. So yeah, that was it for now. And I'm gonna make the rest of the video right now, and I will post it some other day. So if you like this part, give it a like, subscribe, leave comments to help me give you tips and all that, or if you have questions. So, see you guys.